What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in on this rainy Wednesday evening. This is your host. I am obviously not Big Ive, the talk of the town, but shout out to Big Ive. He's got the night off. This is your host, Steve Johnson, the one that they call, and I want to start off by giving a shout out to our sponsors this evening. We're going to start with Dart. Thank you so much. Greenwich Extermination is our next sponsor this evening. Thank you. The Delaware Small Business Chamber is our next sponsor this evening. Thank you so much. And a special shout out to 721, Mr. Nico Wiggins over there at 721 Apparel. Once again, thank you very much for sponsoring the program this evening. We have a very special guest for you guys tonight on the Small Business and Innovation Podcast. This is a friend of the program, a mentor of mine. I've had the pleasure of knowing this gentleman for slightly over a decade now, Mr. Anthony Mendis. Go ahead, introduce yourself, brother.
Thank you, Steve. Nice to see you here, Probably after a few months, I would say.
Yeah, man, it's been a while.
In and out, we've seen each other, Yeah, and good to see you here, and thanks for calling me for this great program.
Truly, my pleasure.
I would be, glad to share my knowledge and experience with this program. Let's get on.
Anthony is a serial entrepreneur. He has started, grown, led multiple businesses of multiple types. Stop underselling yourself, bro. Go on and talk a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what your background is, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, into telecommunication for a while now, and ever since moved down to United States, and before that I was in pharmaceutical and banking industry, a little bit up into anti-money laundering, credits, like pretty much operationals of the banking industry. Mm-hmm. But sales and marketing is always the core, And like you and me have that both same.
Yes, indeed. Shake my hand.
So that's where we partner most of the time, and that's where I'm coming from, and born and raised in Sri Lanka, and lived in Dubai and moved out to the United States almost 11, 12 years back, So ever since we moved down, so I met you, and so short story, pretty much, yeah. So more into the telecommunications and a little bit of IT background, and in fact, with some big companies, and work as a field engineer, not to mention the names of the companies. And so overall, that was my journey here, and build up a few companies and help them to run the companies, and still doing, and still keep grinding.
All right,
that's all about myself.
All right, I appreciate that. You say Sri Lanka is where you're originally from?
Yeah, that's where I'm originally born.
What language do they speak there?
Sinhalese. Yeah, Sinhalese. That's right. You're pretty close. Yeah, Sinhalese. That's the main language over there. And I was in Dubai. Speak a little bit of Arabic, but not that much fluently because not using anymore.
Do me a favor. Look into this camera right here and just give them a welcome. Welcome to the DETV Small Business and Innovation Podcast in Sinhalese.
All right. Ayubowan, Stuti, sielo de nama, may programa ka balangin, sielo de nama, adoring karunaming, may programa kita, sielo de nama, so habang inikila ilasid, Ayubowan.
I didn't understand none of that, but it sounded good, though. We're going to have you do the sign-off that same way.
Yeah.
See, we international over here at DETV. Okay. All right. There's a theme or a question that I want you guys to be asking yourselves this evening. Are you a leader? Are you a leader? All right. Tonight's theme is going to be leadership, mentorship. Like I said, this gentleman right here has been a mentor of mine for many, many years. And we're just going to talk about what a good leader looks like. What does a good mentor look like? How do you know when you're ready to be somebody's mentor? How do you know when you're ready to be mentored, et cetera, et cetera? We'll talk about how you get people to follow you. But I want you guys to be thinking, are you a leader? All right. And the simplest way to tell whether you're a leader or not. Man, y'all hear the thunder? It sounds like it's a monsoon outside. Have you created another leader? how many other leaders have you created? And have the leaders that you've created leaders? Until you've created a leader who has created another leader, in my opinion, you're not a leader. So that's going to be our theme this evening. What say you about that before we even begin? What do you think?
Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool topic. I mean, like all day long, from school age, like socializing in the society, come back to the sports, anything around church, like from the house itself, like leadership. I would say like you learn the leadership qualities or mentorship qualities from your family first, your father, mother, elder siblings, that's where you've grown up. That's what you have seen first. Then you go to the society, you go to school, and the school, college, and from the teachers, and sports, that's where you first seen and experienced this leadership. Actually, that's where it's coming from.
Yeah,
that's where I'm coming from, and that's pretty much my experience. Actually.
All right, so let's start at the beginning then. So when you think back to your early days in business, what do you remember most about who you were and how you thought when you kind of first started?
Yeah, it's going back like I would say like 20 years back where I had my first job actually. So, and one of the pharmaceutical companies back home, and it's always challenging, sales and marketing, So it's always challenging. So, and I have seen pretty good leaders in my life and my immediate bosses, where we every day long like learn something from him or her. So, and then actually you just try to absorb from them. I mean, there are two different things. The leadership is different and the mentoring is completely different thing.
Right.
So the leaders pretty much drive the performance.
Yes.
Definitely they drive the performance and sets your expectation and accountabilities. But the mentors are a completely different role though. But it's pretty close to that, thing. But they help you to develop the skills.
Right.
They exactly build the confidence and understanding. So that's kind of the two different ways of I'm thinking, the leadership and the mentorship, pretty much.
All right.
And and going back again, that's where I started, where I seen my immediate bosses, and then I absorbed those qualities, good and bad. And then the young people who join after me, then they follow me, then I become a leader, and I try to pass out the same thing for them, and or maybe some different way of doing stuff, It's a challenging. Leaders are not easy. Leaders are not made. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's come with your talents.
Everything falls back on you when you're the leader. When you're the one in charge. When you're the one in charge, it's our success, but it's your failure.
Right.
You got to be okay with giving all the credit when something goes well, but absorbing all the blame when something does not go well. If you're not ready to do that, you might not be ready to be a leader.
Yeah, your behaviors, pretty much your behaviors teach more than the words. That's where
Ooh.
Yeah.
Talk. Go on and talk.
Yeah, that's where the rest of the world is looking at you. It's not just talking. So your behavior mainly. So, and well as the integrity, empathy, there are a lot of it. You can go on, So, and so micromanagement. There are so many factors, on the leadership role, and moreover, I would say you have to enjoy. You have to enjoy what you're doing. The leaders. That's a main. I would say if you're not enjoying your leadership, so you're not going to succeed in life.
Man, so y'all know that I try and keep my personal life very, very private, very, very personal. So do you mind if I tell a little bit of our business?
Sure.
So
I don't mind.
A little bit over a decade ago, I was not doing well at all. I had just moved back up here from down in Sandy Springs, which is right outside Atlanta. I was hurting. I was not doing well at all. And this man right here was the first one who really, really gave me a shot. I walked in. I can remember walking in. I'm not going to say where, but I walked in with an iPad with this whole presentation about how I could increase sales, get more customers, help out with the marketing. How did you know at that moment? Because a lot of people would have been like, yeah, sorry, bro, I'm not hiring. Get out. How did you know it? Talk to me about how you pick out the good stuff.
it's it's not easy to pick someone's brain. It's not easy. It's not that I don't think that the way you presented on that day, like that's not where I picked you up. Actually, I think that's your positive vibe and your positive expectations and what you bring into the table. Actually, so what you talk about, like, hey, everyone who come to the interview going to tell, hey, yeah, I can work after hours. I know the customer service, and all this like common things, like But with your background, the way you came to the interview and the way you presented the facts you talk about, the discuss, and like I felt it. You had a background of course, finance and the telecommunication when you joined with us, and so it's a belief. More than anything, it's a belief.
Okay.
Give a shot,
Yeah.
So give a shot.
How can you tell? What are some of the things you look for when you're deciding whether or not you want to invest a little bit more time into this person versus maybe investing a little bit less time in that person? How do you figure out who's got the sizzle and not just the steak?
It's all about the performance. It's not like what you talk. So end of the day, like we have measurements, we have the data. We had to go with the data. But back on the days, like you are not like you will see your performance for sure. Like after first week, second week, third week. But to spend more time with the right person and drive that person to where you want to take him down or her down to become a store manager or like a leader or team leader. So it's all about not someone who's talking about like every day long, I was late to work, or I had an excuse, my bus was late, like, all that stuff. But I think, like, those are very common stuff, very common stuff. Yeah. And like, then he or she come to work and like, try to act like, I'm going to cover up that, all this stuff. But that's not the real leader and real performer. I mean, like, if you're dedicated for your job, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you have a schedule set for a week, So you make sure you come to the work and perform yourself. That's where we spend more time. That's where I picked up mainly the guys who have a basics disciplines. When you have basics disciplines in your life, it's so easy to pick the right person and spend more time and fund on the guy and grow the person.
Talk to me about a lesson with as many years as you've spent now being a leader and being a mentor for myself and for others. What's a lesson that you had to learn the hard way as a leader, but now you would say, you know what, I'm glad I learned that lesson?
All right, so that'll be a lot of lessons, man.
That's all right. We got time, brother. This is your podcast tonight. You take as much time as you need.
So, you had to be smart enough to understand, like, when you follow the leaders, like, there are good and bad things, you're going to acquire from them and, like, to apply for your life. So, and you better make sure you get only the positives from that particular person. So, I mean, there are so many examples, but which I cannot share here. I mean, like, there are not real due to different reasons, because, yeah, I mean, like, when I started working, and always people find a shortcut. So I had leaders, like, they show me some shortcuts. Hey, you don't need it this way. We found this way to do it. But the right way to learn is the right way to get it up there.
Right.
So, and it's not that learning from the shortcuts or finding a loophole from any of the systems and, like, aggravating customers just to make a sales. No. It's a long-lasting customer. As long as the customer stay with you, like, you're going to make money or the profitable for the company.
He's talking about building relationships,
absolutely,
y'all, which is something we talk about on this program all the time.
Yep.
You have to build relationships. If you approach your client or your customer with like a consultative type of approach, in most cases you're going to have a customer for life. All right. It's not about making sales. It's about making a friend. Go ahead, bro. I ain't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, like, the retaining the customer. That's a baby you just build up. Like, the customer has to be retained with you to make it profitable. Like, it's keep going, and the family, friends, siblings, you name it, the whole family going to come back. So if you're going to screw up the first time, and they're not going to come back to you. So they're never going to come back to that place or for that person.
Yeah. I'll answer that question from my standpoint. A lesson that was difficult for me to learn as a leader, and now, being a guy who mentors several other people, there are some people who are just not going to get it. It doesn't matter how many times you say it. There are some people who are just never, ever, ever going to get out of their own way. That was a difficult lesson for me to learn, because you want people to succeed.
Absolutely.
When they're under your learning tree, you want them to succeed, but you can't. Sometimes you want it for them more than they want it for themselves.
Yep.
And that can be really, really frustrating sometimes.
Right.
I'm sure you've seen that movie before. You've had to deal with that before. How do you deal with that?
It's kind of a situation handling, pretty much. I would say, it's a story can be different between, from prospect of the office environment, prospect of the retail location, or a back office or franchisee office, or it could be, from an international office, or it could be, the scenarios can be different for sure. But overall, I mean, to answer your question, is pretty much grooming those employees to a right way, and even when you're not there, and when your presence is not there, so you have a trust, the belief and the trust you built up with that person is going to last longer. Like you, we've been known for a long time, and we still have the trust, right?
Yeah.
So we never want to spoil that at any time of the. It doesn't matter you work together or if you don't work together, So it doesn't matter. So the trust is one of the very important components of that.
Now, let me touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
When you build, one of the most important things in any relationship and in business is integrity. This man right here knows that my integrity is we had situations where, there's money missing out of the register. And he called me and told me, hey, there's such and such missing. And so said that you might have, and he said, hey, there's absolutely no way that Steve stole any money. I'm not even going to listen to you tell me that Steve stole any money.
Absolutely.
But when nobody's watching, or when you think nobody's watching, that the most eyes are actually on you. So it is imperative that you try and do the right, well, not try, you got to do the right thing all the time. All right. Do the right thing. You have to do what's right, not what's convenient. Okay. And that's something that you see a lot of small business owners do. A lot of small business owners will take shortcuts just because it's convenient. You can't do that. Do what's right. Do what's in the best interest of the customer at all times. It's all about what's in the best interest of the people that you're here to serve. All right. Their best interest comes first. Your best interest comes second. At no point should you be sacrificing the integrity of the business, not even for profit. Am I wrong?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, you're right. You're at the right point. Yeah, that's exactly way to proceed. And if you want to success in the business, it doesn't matter like small business or retail, or it doesn't matter what kind of business. But those are basics. Those are like integrated basic facts. Absolutely, I agree with you.
Let me ask you something else. As as a leader, a mentor, a business owner, a business leader, how has your definition of success changed over the years? Because sometimes it's not all about the money. Sometimes you can have bigger revenues, but you still didn't win. So how has your definition of success changed over the years?
The change towards what? What do you mean, like success towards? Like betterness of the business?
How do you keep score? How do you know if you're winning or not?
Oh, okay. Got you. Again, going back to the same point, like the basics has to be on place, So you will get the challenges for sure. You have to keep going. You have to open new locations, you had to, maybe you're not making money. You still need adding more locations, and spending more money on the employees, there are so many other factors. But so how you keep focusing what you are doing and how you keep succeeding what you are doing is the basics. So when you hire a person, so as I mentioned, so you hire the right person from the first day. You hire the right person, that's the prospect for the company. So he or she going to be for a leader one day for sure. That's how I joined. That's how I came. So there are so many other examples, there are so many other people. So the current company I work also the same way. So I joined as a like account manager, so went up to the direct operations, and so that's how you do. You do the basics. You have so much of freedom nowadays. Like you're working from home, and
Yep.
you don't know what you're doing, and there are measurements. Of course, they can find out with what you're doing, but you have a lot of freedom and you have a lot of time to do something. So, but you make sure you perform well, and you take care of what you have to do, the basic stuff, and you top up the game. You understand the systems. You understand the changes of the business, change of the customer behavior. There are so many other factors. So there are so many components, Steve. There are so many other components around that. And so if you can stick around with those basics every day.
Every day.
Every day.
All right. He's talking about having good fundamentals, y'all. All right. You said something, and I want to see if we can unpack it a little bit more. You said make sure you hire the right person. What does the right person look like?
So for me, it's the right person looks like it's not the experience. I had a lot of employees I hired with experience and without experience, even current company or previous companies, and we always give a shot for a new blood. Because the new blood always bring different stories, different atmosphere, different skill set, different selling skills, which they have learned from somewhere else, from home, school, sports team, something. They're always the chance you had to give for the new blood. So the right person for me. It's not that experienced person only. Okay, so we always give them few days, weeks, probation period for them. So just perform, and if they have interest of the job, you see the person is really taking serious of the job, and that's where you find out, okay, this she or he going to be right fit for your company. So that's
all right.
where
So we're talking about somebody who, we're looking for somebody who's punctual. Punctuality. They show up on time. They present well.
Yep.
Relatively articulate.
Yep.
What else? What are some of the other things you look for?
The integrity, pretty much honesty. That's the pretty big part of the employee. And it's not only the performance, and taking the challenges, taking ownership. Call outs, hey, can you come? Taking challenges, weather challenges, and events, and there are different other components. You don't know when you're running a business, you get a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And shut down COVID.
Yeah.
Think about it. There are so many we have gone through all the last few years. So those are the moments that you can figure out those characters going to pop up. So they're going to say, oh, sure, yeah, you want me to manage the store? Yeah, I'll manage the store. Hey, yeah, you want to run the store? Yeah, sure. Can I do that one? Yeah, I can do that. That's interest, and that's where you see a lot of leaders' qualities. That's where they come up.
Now, for me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm usually going to be looking for, I have a bias. I'm going to be looking for former athletes. All right. I'm always going to be looking for former athletes. All right. I want to know if the person that I'm hiring has been on a team before. Are they used to a team dynamic? Have they won anything? So when I'm looking at the resume, I'm looking at certifications, licenses. I need to know that you have seen something through from beginning to end. And not only have you won before, that's something that I'm looking for, but I also want to know, are you willing to prepare to win? All right, because you can't just show up on game day and just win. Are you willing to prepare to win? All right, so depending on the industry or the business, are you willing to get up and research the competitors? Are you willing to figure out what our unique value proposition is going to be? How we're doing something faster or better than our competitors? Are you willing to, if you have a retail location, are you willing to get up, go to the mall before your shift starts, shake hands, kiss babies, hand out business cards? These are the things that I'm looking for. I'm not here to teach you nothing that your mom and your daddy should have taught you a long time ago. All right. Your mother and father should have taught you how to get up and come to work on time. All right. Your mom and dad should have taught you how to not steal. All right.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the intangibles. All right. Let me ask a different question here.
All right. Let's move on.
Who are some of your inspirations when you think of, good leaders, good mentors? What do they look like? What do they sound like? Who's somebody that you think of?
So, I mean, there are a lot of characters like that in my life. Like, from back in the days, from the school, like, different coaches, you help me and improve your skill set, play different kind of sports. So I would have my father, of course, So definitely, one of the key factors in your life for sure. You have seen. So that's what I said from the beginning. So leaders being made actually at your home, school, like that's where you're seen first. Like definitely my father, one of them. So you have seen and what struggles they are going through and how he overcome those things. And then there are definitely there are so many other characters in workplace, sports, and there are school, principals, teachers, and friends too. Yeah, there are friends too. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to mention personally any of the names right
here. You
don't
have to. Let me ask you a different question here.
Yeah.
Because you've had businesses across several different industries.
Yes.
You've worked in several different industries. Yes. What are some disciplines or habits that have stayed with you regardless of what industry you were working in?
I mean, no matter what, the punctuality. The punctuality is one of my strengths, actually. So if somebody asks you to come on time, so I'll be there before that for sure.
My man got here today at 6:57.
Yeah,
we told him he had to be here by 7:30.
That's one of my qualities. I'll always be there before the time. You have to be there, and top of that, actually, the basic discipline stuff, like talk well and be nice to people, be humble, and be nice to the people and talk with the facts and stay with the facts and be prepared yourself. Be prepared yourself, and that's where you can, proceed your life.
All right. At this point in your life, you have led sales teams, you've led businesses. What are some of the keys to getting real buy-in from people? How do you get people to follow you?
Oh, yeah, as I mentioned on the qualities of the leaders, and you just show them the results.
Yes.
Be a leader, show them results. So with the results only you can talk the numbers. So if you're not a performer, you cannot bring someone on board and can you be like me? No, because you don't have nothing to show them. You have nothing to prove them.
Right.
So so if you want to be a person to become a real leader, you had to perform. You have to show them first. So then definitely you have upfront all the facts that you can show them. Hey, this is what you done. This you have done.
Yep.
This is what you had to do. This is where you are struggling. So of course you become a performer first. Show them you are a performer. Then let the team to follow you.
All right. I think that a good leader gets buy-in by being a teacher first. All right. So you first must be a teacher. You also have to get to know your people as people. All right. We've discussed that on this program before. Right. There are some people who you might be able to yell, scream, curse at. There's a lot of people who really do not respond positively when you say that, though. All right. I have clients who I might be able to say, what the hell is this? I have other clients who I have to say, I'm really not sure that this is the best representation of you as a business owner. I can't accept this from you. All right. But knowing who your people are, so you need to know their upbringing. You need to know what their household dynamic is. You need to know what motivates certain people, okay? And again, we've discussed all these things on this program before, but I think you got to be a good teacher first. And like Anthony said, you can't hold anybody accountable to a standard that you yourself are not meeting.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think you had to set up the expectations. So once you set up the expectation for those candidates, they're understanding what you had to do exactly, assumptions. So and set up the goals, specific measurables, achievement, relevance, and all the stuff. You just clarify these things are not acceptable. Or setting up the goals is one of the main tasks you have to be as a leader.
I love that you just said that. You must set clear goals.
Clear goals.
Clear expectations.
Yes.
One of my favorite things to tell my clients, you must be clear, not clever.
Yeah,
All right?
right.
You have to be clear. People can't hit your imaginary goals.
Right.
So
right,
if you
right.
don't communicate it clearly, they're not going to be able to hit whatever the standard is.
So if still not working, then be honest. Like,
Yes.
be a constructive feedback. Give a honest feedback. Like situation behaviors. Like, like tell them, oh, this is what happens. In this situation, you are not able to handle it. So this is where 1, 2, 3. Clear, constructive understanding and clear, constructive advice. That has to be there. Otherwise, you can, because it's not, there are so many data, so
Right.
many informations, So you have to be very clear on that.
What's something that you used to believe made a good leader, but now, that you have a lot more experience, you realize maybe that's not so important, or maybe that doesn't make a good leader?
So you mean to say like, so who was not become a leader, like due to certain...
No, I mean, like, when you first became a leader, what's something that you thought would make you a good leader, but you learn later on, hey, it doesn't really matter, or this doesn't make me a good leader?
Yeah, that's come with the different scenarios. Like I would say the challenges. Most of the time you get the opportunity to become a leader is that situation. It's that particular situation, the particular moment, I would say. So like, so that's the time you think, okay, this is a good opportunity so I can become a leader, right? So that's the opportunity you grab.
Yep.
So that's one of the best quality of the leader. After that, it's become a norm. It's like everyday thing, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So after that, you get the challenges, but you already know how to handle those challenges after that. So your questions. So I mean, that first impression is really important. So maybe there's opportunity nobody's taking. Like when you grab that opportunity, that's the one quality of the leader. Then after that, it's nothing. It's just it's another day for you. It's a piece of cake. You know?
Right.
So you just keep going, and different challenges come. So you know the pattern, you know the game. It's pretty much the confidence too. You need to have of course.
Oh yeah.
Without confidence, no, you will not take challenges. So you can't be a leader if you don't have a confidence. To be honest, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm telling my kids too. You need to build up your confidence. Without confidence, no. Yeah.
And you have some people who would disagree with this, but I'm here to tell you, confidence comes from accomplishments.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why I encourage people, spread your wings. Do as many different things as you can, so you can figure out what you're good at. All right. Confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from doing it. All right. It's not about believing that you can do stuff. It's knowing that you can do stuff, and knowing and believing are not the same thing. In your opinion, what separates a good leader from a great leader? It don't have to be one thing. If it's more than one thing, you take much time as you need.
I would say the integrity and empathy is always,
Empathy is unpack that for me a little bit.
Yeah, empathy is, that's where you take it to the growth actually, So, and it's very hard to segregate that part actually become a great, it's a good leader always become a great leader. All right. So can be different scenarios, can be, the leader can be go back again as to like regular employees, but but good leader always will be a great leader with my experience, that's where you go.
All right. So I think a good leader gets it done. A good leader consistently delivers results.
Yes.
A great leader helps individuals reach a certain level of self-actualization.
Yep.
Y'all understand what I mean when I say self-actualization? Are you helping people be somebody who they may not have thought they could be? Are you helping people accomplish something that they may not have thought themselves that they could accomplish? If you're doing that, and if you're doing it consistently, I would consider you to be a great leader. And most other people would too.
Absolutely, yeah.
What's something that you see younger entrepreneurs doing that you maybe wish they would slow down and get it right? What's a common mistake you see newer entrepreneurs making?
I think they're so rushed to make money.
Ooh,
right?
Talk about it.
Yes, most of the young entrepreneurs I've seen, like they are like rushing to become a millionaires or billionaires like overnight, like get scammed by different programs and like without understanding the proper process of the system. So like because it's easy, right? These days, like everything in your fingertips. Like everything. You log into your computer, like you can get everything done like within a second. Like you wanna sell something, you want a service, product, anything, like everything up front for you. It's so easy, and but sustainable is not easy. Sustaining on that business, on that particular product, and it's not easy. I would say so. Most of the time, this young generation, I would say, the entrepreneurs, they get failed because they are rushing, they are hurry to make money, and then to go back to their lavish life, like show off, like having girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, and like that's where the mistake, I think.
Yeah.
So.
All right, he is absolutely right about that. Find something that motivates you besides money. All right, if you're thinking about starting a business or you're relatively new in your entrepreneurial journey, I would advise you to ask yourself this question. If money were no object, what would I do? What would I do for free? If you can align that with your entrepreneurial goals, I think you'll be just fine. And you'll come to find that your work doesn't really feel like work a lot of times. When you at this point have led people through pressure, uncertainty, what are some things that you leaned on in order to lead people through tough times?
I consume it sometimes. Like you let it go, and you absorb that situation, and you try to live with that, and help with them. But I always try to not to fall back. Actually, what I do usually try to be on that position with that particular person or leader, and help them to come up from the complexity.
What's something that you think most people misunderstand about being a leader, especially in business?
That's a very big subject, brother.
We got time. Take as much time as you need, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's a pretty complex. Like there are so many areas you can talk about that actually, and so again, when we talk about why these young entrepreneurs are failing, not understanding the complexity of the business models. They don't really understand how this process works. So they're getting rushed like to get the revenues, sooner.
Right.
So and the budget is not budgeting properly, and miscalculating the cash flow, and so the spending on the big marketing, the big thing,
Ooh.
So soon after they open up the business, they're spending a lot of money on the marketing before you get your first customer even,
Notice how a lot of the themes that are discussed here, regardless of the entrepreneur or the background who come on this program, the themes are the same. Keep going, bro. I ain't mean to cut you off. Go on, brother.
It is the same. Yeah. So the struggling with the planning also, I think. So like most of the time, these younger entrepreneurs, like they are not planning properly. So they struggle with the planning. And so it's depending on every industry, like the customer behavior, hiring, planning. If you don't have those baby steps, and you're going to fail.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
It can be for entrepreneur or any other business. Like, you need to do baby steps in the beginning. Like it's SME, small business and entrepreneurs and enterprise. So, and make a decision always on the facts, not the emotional.
Yes.
Not the emotional. Don't take decisions on the emotions.
Yes.
So and spending money on those like lavish thing, opening a big office, like spending money on the marketing, as you said, and get the customers first. Make sure you get the customers from your house.
Maybe they'll hear it if you say it, because I say that all the time.
Yes.
Stop talking to me about business credit. Stop talking to me about grants. Stop talking to me about loans.
Right.
Go get a customer first. Learn how to get a customer, and then learn how to get some referrals.
Correct.
Man, that's like my third time cutting you off, bro. My bad. Go ahead. Let me let you cook.
No, it's from the weak education. Like sometimes if you don't have proper education about that particular business model, so you're going to fail again. If you better have some kind of experience on that particular subject, or otherwise with at least the lack of system, disciplines, reliable team. If you don't have, you're going to fail. There are so many components around that growing a business. And maybe you don't understand that, but maybe you're already doing it. But you had to sometimes you're not writing down those steps. Actually, I had to follow this, but you may doing that already. But you may fail because you have not properly plan your business.
Yeah. So you would say then that it's important to have a mentor.
Yeah.
All right. How important is it? Why is it important?
Because you struggle all the time on you can become maybe you're a greatest lead in the world, but you have a time you need some mentoring. So you need someone to listen to you and get the advice, and then that person can guide you to a right way. So you always need a business mentoring. Actually, always. It doesn't matter you are the richest person in the world, but you still need the mentoring.
Yes, you always need somebody around you who has a different point of view. All right, somebody who's maybe not on the outside or maybe not on the inside looking out. I got one more question for you, bro, and then we're going to let you get out of here because I know my man Big Ive would kill me if I didn't ask this one. All right, Ivan's writing a book. It's called The 100 Things That I'll Never Do in Business Again.
Okay.
So what are some of the mistakes that you might have made early on that you absolutely under no circumstances would repeat?
Oh, I mean, I would say there are so. I don't think there are so many. I would say there are very important mistakes which I made it. Growing fast, before you have a proper standpoint, your footprints on different markets, like when you're opening branches, I would say. And sometimes you just listen to your parent company, and you went and opened so many locations, and with the data only we go and open for sure. But the biggest mistake I would say expanding so soon.
All right, hold on, because you're talking some good talk right now. And once again, we try not to put too much of my man's business out there, but you've owned several franchises. Yeah. Talk to me about how you duplicate processes across different places without you being there. Walk me through how you do that.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty easy. Once you have one first store, second store, you have this full setup system already in place, especially if it's a franchise, so that's what you pay for it. Okay, so they have the well set up program, which you just need to follow that blueprint book actually. So I mean, again, not to mention the name, which the recent company I worked before the current company, and I was working with a big tech company. So they had a very famous technology with this cashless cashiers. You just walk in and walk out. So I mean, they start selling that same model for every other small business around in Seattle. If you go to Seattle, you don't see these moms and pop shops around there, okay? So, and you will walk in, walk out. They just built it. You have a software, you have system. That's it. I have done from top to bottom. That's that technology, and it's so easy. It's so easy because it's very unique. You don't need to. You will have of course, some difficulties depending on the places and customers. Yeah, you will go through that, but you always have challenges. No matter what. It doesn't matter. So, but franchise is pretty much the easy way to get in actually, and because it's pretty much copy paste the same model of business in every location, and so easy to expand.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let Mr. Mendis get out of here. But once again, before we go, let's go ahead and shout out today's sponsors. Let's go ahead and get them up there. Then what we got? Our first sponsor this evening is Dart. Dart, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you guys. Our next sponsor this evening is Greenwich the Delaware Small Business Chamber is our second sponsor. Greenwich Exterminating. Once again, we know pest control is going to be an issue for a lot of you guys with this weather warming up out here. Y'all go see Keith Greenwich, GreenwichX.com. And shout out to Mr. Nico Wiggins, who once again bestowed this beautiful sweatsuit upon me this evening. 721apparel.com. Again, that's 721apparel.com. Oh, can we get the flyer for the expo up there, bro? Ladies and gentlemen, coming up less than 7 days away, we have the Super Bowl for small business in Delaware, the Minority Small Business Expo. We're going to be at Del Tech's Dover campus. That's 100 Campus Drive in Dover, Delaware. This event is going to be crazy. It's going to be a movie, all right? I say it every time I bring this event up. This is not going to be just people talking. All right, we have 3 very powerful panel discussions for you. We have a regional economic opportunities panel. We have a couples in business panel, and we have an access to capital panel. In addition to that, we have 4 workshops planned for you that day. We have a men's health and wellness workshop. We have a women's health and wellness workshop. We have a workforce development workshop, and we have a marketing and customer acquisition workshop. If you are trying to build anything meaningful, you need to be in the room. Let me look over here. Put this one on. You need to be in the room. 100 Campus Drive, Dover, Delaware, Tuesday, July 15th. You need to be there. At the bottom of that flyer, there is a link. If you're interested in being a vendor, just go ahead and click that link. It's $50 to be a vendor at this event. Absurdly underpriced. We know it. Y'all don't have to tell us. But I'm looking forward to seeing all of y'all there. I want you guys to come and find me at that event. Come and find Big Ive. He's agreed to host the event that day. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I certainly hope that you were able to find some value in today's discussion on the small business, on DETV Small Business and Innovation Podcast. Go on and take us out in Sinhala, brother. Go on and take us out. Sign us off. Right there.
All right. So thank you very much again, Steve, having me on this show, and it's great to see you guys. And like,
Not in English, man.
Oh, you want to say in my native language, man? I heard that again. Okay. Aibowan, Stuti, Steve Johnson, මගේ මිතුරා. මේ අවස්ථාව ලබා දුන්නට ගොඩ දවසකට කතා කරා මට මේකට එන්න බැරුණා වැඩත් එක්ක. Again, Stuti, Steve. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Truly, truly our pleasure. Y'all enjoy the rest of the evening. Have a great night. We'll see you next time on DETV Small Business and Innovation Podcast.